Evening, everybody. It's 5:59, and this is your closing comment for today, Wednesday, the 27th of April. Okay, so futures were higher this morning, came back in, rallied at the open, moved down, moved up, moved down. The result at the end of the day was a sharply unchanged mixed day, with the Dow up 61 and the Nasdaq down $1.81, the S&P up $8.76, and the Russell down 644. And the big winner of the day, the Dow Jones Transports, 184.78, up 1.25%. I'm not going to go into all the stocks. I'm just going to mention a few, but clearly the two biggest movers of the day have been Facebook and TDOC. Facebook beat, although their guidance was a little soft. Nobody cared about the guidance. The stock had closed 174.95, down 6. It had already traded down to 169 after the report. It traded sharply higher, traded 210.17, and the last is 207.91, up about $27 or 15%. At the close today, the PE was around 13, which seems extraordinarily low for a company that produces the kind of cash flow that this one does. And so I'm guessing we're going to continue to work higher. Doesn't hurt that the stock has been pounded mercilessly. I mean, I think we have a position in the $100,000 account that probably has an average cost of about 300, and I've already averaged down once. In the other direction, we had TDOC, closed 55.99, missed, and traded down to 33.82. Now, you got to remember, this is a stock that, has already come down dramatically. As recently as this year, we have been in the neighborhood of 88. At the end of last year, we had come down pretty much from the high around 308 all the way back down, so 308 to 35.25, which is the last, is quite a decline. So it's down 40% right now. Las Vegas Sands, a minor miss, pretty much expected. The stock closed 34.84, traded down to 33.60, last 33.77, down 98 cents. Qualcomm beat. Stock had closed 135 and low change, up $1.60, traded up immediately to 145. Last is 142.80, up 9.38 or 7%. PayPal beat on revenues, but had kind of poor guidance, although they're trying to shift to daily active users rather than transactions, or that's what the CEO was saying. The stock had closed 82.61, down $1.09, traded up to 90. Last is 86.70, up 2.90, 3.5%. And Boeing, which looked horrendous this morning at 160, down 7, actually traded down to 146. And finished the day at 155.72. That was down 11. So this morning's 160 down 7 looked actually pretty decent down here at 155 and change. And I just want to mention this one just because it's so extreme. And one of my favorite people on Fast Money is Karen Feinerman. I think she has a real clear head on her shoulders, and she was talking about waiting for the 3-day rule before buying Netflix, which she did. Unfortunately, it has done nothing but sink lower, closing today 188.54, down 986, or another 5%. This is a stock that traded as high as 614, and after this little break was from 351 the day that the earnings hit after the close, and since then it has been down 122, 797, 280, 561, 11 and a half, and today another 715. So sometimes the 3-day rule works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, chart on the screen is the corn, and it is breaking out yet again. I want to show it to you on the daily because I think it's even more impressive. Let's go back here. So we broke out above 780. We rallied here to 814. I've been keying off this close at 810, looking for a higher close to break it out. It came all the way back down and spent 2 days pretty much exactly at the point of breakout. 780 was the breakout. Day before yesterday was 781, and the day before that was 780 and a half. Today we did close above that. In fact, we closed pretty close to the all-time high here at 814. We made a new all-time high of 818 and a half and closed at 812 and a quarter. And I think that this looks to me, I know Dennis mentioned to me he did a little work on it. He thinks we could be as high as 840 to 850, at which point I'll be gone. Okay, gold was down 15. Remember, this is the one that I told you Dennis said was in kind of a no man's land, in between what he thought was the possibility of a move down as low as 1838 and a high, in this area, this 1912 or so. We broke down below that, had a little meaningless rally yesterday, and then continued down, hitting 1881. Now we do run into this 1874.6 is this 100-day moving average. So we'll have to see if that holds. And if it doesn't, this is the area that Dennis was talking about. 1834 is the 200-day. 1838 was the point where he thought it might go. The oil was up 30 cents, so nothing much there. Bitcoin up 680 after yesterday's down 1900. Not much of a bounce. And the dollar was up another 65 cents. I want to show you this one. It looks like, and this is what Dennis and I were discussing today, it looks like we are in the point, at the point of a blow off to the upside. As I've mentioned to you before, we closed 102.96 today. As I've mentioned before and shown you on this chart, this is the area where the dollar goes to die. 103.81 and a half, 103.96, today's high, 103.29. So we did close, very much near the high. We are near the high for the month. And on a daily basis, clearly we have closed pretty close to the high also. So we'll have to see how this shakes out. But, I'd like to see this chart in the corn. It actually looks remarkably a lot like it. Broke out here, came back and tested. Last test, breakout, and rally. All right, everyone. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Tomorrow we have claims, as always, on Thursday. I think we also have first look at GDP for the first quarter, or last look at the GDP for the first quarter. And of course, the continuing saga of earnings with Apple reporting tomorrow after the close. Have a good evening.